Guys, welcome to the first episode on our YouTube series. This is something that I've been sitting on for many, many years, and I've been very much guilty of wanting things to be absolutely perfect. Whether that is having the right podcast setup, whether that is having the right lighting, the right microphone. I've wanted to make it look like I was in some sort of radio station, you know, the one with the fancy microphone that comes over the top with the headphones on. And in reality, like it is with your fitness, we just have to get on with it and make it up as we go, and over time get better and better and better. Hopefully that is the idea anyway. And I'm at a chapter in my life now, being 36, and I think it's an important, definitely an important chapter for me, and it is for the guys that I work with. So I've wanted this YouTube series to be all about helping guys that are in their 30s, 40s, that have been in shape previously but are looking for that new way, right? And the old way, which is something that I used to do, brought up sort of the old school bodybuilding split, because that was what I looked up to. I remember when I first started, when I was sort of 17, 18, men's health magazines, YouTube, funny enough, was a big thing then. And I would just follow whatever they were doing, and whatever they would tell me to do, I would do. So if I was in there 6 days a week, fine, I'd do it. If I was just drinking nothing but protein shakes, I would do it. And back then, I don't know about you, I had time. In my teens, early 20s, I had plenty of time to be able to do so. And naturally, I would come up against stumbling blocks along the way, because as you probably know, being here, if you're in your 30s, 40s, things are slightly different now, right? The body is slowing down, or it feels like it's slowing down, right? And we can be guilty of thinking, and this is what I was as well, is well, actually the old way got me the result, but I haven't got the same amount of time, so now I'm getting frustrated because I can't commit the time. And actually, this is where the mindset shift needs to happen. And this has happened for me over the years, and obviously being a personal trainer and online coach, having developed my programs and skill set, I understand now that it can be done a different way. And it's a case of actually less is more when it gets to your 30s, 40s. You do not need to be training 5-6 times a week. You do not need to be doing the old school bodybuilding split. You can do any type of split, funny enough, that you want to. And I think we're very guilty in the fitness space of trying to pigeonhole absolutely everything. Like if you've got a certain style of training that you like, then that's great, that can work for you. Don't get me wrong, if you can only train 2-3 times a week, there's going to be certain splits that are going to help set you up for that. If you're able to train 5-6 times a week, then that's also great. But I'm really here to help those guys now that have more responsibilities than they've ever had, different priorities. You're probably a dad now, you've got the family, you're working extremely long hours, and you just feel like you haven't got the time spare and that you're juggling all the plates. And I know that because I struggle with overwhelm and try and juggle plenty of plates as well. And it can feel like then adding fitness and your diet into the mix, it can feel stupidly overwhelming. So therefore you never take action on what it is that you should be doing. Now, it's my job, and I believe as a coach, that we should be keeping things extremely simple. The ones that tend to overcomplicate and give you all the science and the jargon, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of science and research, no. But at the same time, with the guys that I work with, we just want the basics, right? Get the basics done well, and that is what gives you your results at the end of the day. Now, like the chapter for me, just to give you a little bit of a brief overview of how I started. I started as the insecure skinny kid that hated the way that he looked. I hated the way that I looked. In school, I wore the same blazer, Chi-Hi for boys, the green blazer from year 7, and it's fitted me all the way up until I left school. That was how I didn't really grow, to be honest. It wasn't until I went into a local leisure centre, started lifeguarding and making things up on the spot, and then spent the next sort of 2, 3, 4 years everyone that's weight trained before, you understand there's such a thing as like newbie gains. So you'll get those gains to start with and you think, fuck, this is amazing, this is incredible. But actually over time, those things then start to stall. And I was very much guilty of being in that space where it was all about tricking the body. And whether I'd found it from a bodybuilder or whoever, I was like, cool, I'm gonna go in every single session, train completely differently, do different things, and just basically try and abuse the body and get myself sore, because that's all I wanted. I then left feeling a little bit empty. I built a physique that I liked, don't get me wrong, but there was still something more to give for me. So it was a case of actually played football, enjoyed running. I was like, cool, let's try and push myself towards some sort of running event. Started with the Great South Run. That then started the curiosity to doing more endurance-y based stuff. So then it led to the Brighton Marathon, which was an absolute shit show because I didn't really train too well. That was based off of ego, and just because I thought I played football, I could get by and do it. So that again led to the next chapter. I was like, cool, you've got to learn your lessons from this. And after doing the Brighton Marathon, if I ever signed up to anything again, I was going all in and doing it properly. Then came the Ironman in Nice, believe it or not, with my skin tone. Now, luckily, COVID lockdown came in because it would potentially could have absolutely crippled me. However, I had trained a long time for it, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to do a full Ironman in the back garden. I had a client's paddling pool at the time. I had a squat rack from in here in my studio. I had a bungee cord as well, so I strapped it up into making sure the resistance worked, and that was it from the get-go. We set off at sort of like 5 o'clock in the morning. Swim was done. I did the bike in here in the studio on the software called Zwift, and then went outside and ran plenty of laps in the garden. My feet were in absolute blister, in bits. I got infected blisters, which was lovely and very challenging. Then this led. If I hadn't learned my lessons from there, I then moved into doing 21 ultras in 21 days with my best mate Matt. We started in Edinburgh and then hit every sort of capital castle as we went along the way. So covering, I think it was around 31 miles a day. He'd correct me on this if he ever watches it. But again, an incredible experience, something that I look back now and it's got such fond memories. And I'm not saying you need to go and do these things, but I just enjoy pushing myself and seeing what I'm actually capable of. And from there, it's doing things, whether it's high rocks that I've done, Spartan races, all that type of stuff. I'm way more interested in events outside of the gym. I love training, I do, but I also love being out in nature and pushing myself that way. So I will never be what I describe as the biggest guy. I'll never probably be the strongest guy, but that's absolutely fine. Like, I'm happy sort of staying in my lane, and I suppose you can call it like the hybrid training now, but it's just being athletic is how I describe it. That word has been around for years, but naturally social media will want buzzwords and things. So it's all about hybrid, high rocks, all that type of stuff. And I think there's nothing wrong with wanting to look a certain way. I personally like how I look. I like to be able to run, like to be able to play sports and just do all those types of things. So that's a little bit about my journey now. And I'm in the next phase, the next chapter, where you guys can probably relate to this, of where priorities, again, things have changed for me, stresses, things are different. We're trying to grow two businesses at the moment. I don't have, or I do have, but I'm choosing not to spend as much time in the gym as what I used to be able to. So it's now a case at the moment where I'm not trying to train for anything, and I'm actually just going, not necessarily through the motions, but I'm in the gym, or whether I'm just going out for a run. And I have to learn to accept that that is okay, and that has taken me a long time to get used to. So watch this space. We will now be creating some incredible videos, I hope, that are going to be able to educate you, give you a little bit of fun as well along the way, show a little bit more about my character, a little bit more about my life and what goes on behind the scenes. But for now, I just want to leave you with this video. Any comments, anything you want to do, like, subscribe, all that cringy stuff. I can't believe I've just said that. I sound like a teenager. Like and subscribe, please, guys, because every little helps. Thank you very much.